Hello everyone. We have gathered here to have a good discussion on the topic moral policing, adverse effect on the personality development of the youngsters. Okay, so first I would like to add that moral policing is the forcibly imposing the cultural beliefs on a youngsters or a certain people. What we believe that is correct, we made them to. So, what I feel is that this creates conservatism in the youngsters. They feel like society is made up of a certain way. We have to follow the rules. We can't break that. We can't be like that.
I would like to add on to what Silva said. Moral policing is actually violating the rights of youngsters. Like, who are these gang of people who question the rights of example? I will point out a very good example which happened in Kerala in the district of Malappuram. So it's a recent incident. So a brother and a sister, they were having a conversation in a bus stand. So the sister was actually married off to another family, and they met in the bus stand, and they were both standing together, and they both talked. At that time, a mom came and questioned, "Who are you? Why are you standing together?" And they were questioning because a boy and a girl, they were standing together and they were talking. What is wrong with that? Like, all the citizens of India have the right to, like, they have the freedom to speech, they have the freedom to go everywhere, like, anywhere in India, except the places with restrictions. And these people, like, even if they are not related, like, they are not sisters or brothers, they have the right to have a dog. It could be their friend, it could be their brother, sister, or a stranger. Like, what it has to do with the people? Like, the vigilant group, like in India, moral policing is usually seen with a vigilant group. They are set with a code of morals, and they will question people, and they will, whether anything, they will start questioning, and all their codes of morals are based on the cultural norms, the societal norms, or even religious. Like, this is India. In India, it should be like this. These are our rules, our conservation, like, this is our culture. You should not go beyond that, like that.
Adding on to what Sri Lakshmi said, as you all know, as per the Article 15 and 16 of the Indian Constitution, we are demanded freedom of speech and freedom of expression. By moral policing, it is being said that we have to follow a certain rule, certain code of rules or laws, which imposes on each individual, which individuality is being suppressed, and it also creates anxiety problem, and also it erodes self-confidence and lack of self-esteem on each individual, leading on to difficulties in their personal growth and mental stress, etc. in their whole career, which may affect their whole career.
So this moral policing actually forces these youngsters to confine on their comfortable spaces, because they are scared to explore the places because of the fear of moral policing, and also they are not only affected of the mental trauma, but also sometimes they are attacked physically. So this is not just an individual problem, but a social problem which should be eradicated. But there is no such very visible kind of interference happen from the part of the government. It's just being continued as some kind of very normalized kind of.
Moral policing is very normalized. Like, as of now, we don't have any laws protecting people or youngsters from being morally policed, and there are no strict actions against people who do this moral policing. There was an incident in Kerala, in a bus stop near a college. I don't remember the college or the place, but in the bus stop there was seats and students. Yes, in Trivandrum, yes. So students, boys and girls, they used to sit together, and laugh. Yeah, these people, they deconstructed it. They put gap between each seat so that both girls and boys would be separate. Yeah, they should sit together. And the happy thing I want to add to this is that The students of that college, they protested against this by boys sitting on the lap of girls and girls sitting on the lap of boys.
And also in the name of moral policing, they are taking law in their hands and they are attacking them, and like it's like invading in their private space. Like we have freedom to wherever we can stand and like talk with our friends, but in the name of moral policing, like they are they're not allowing to like freely laugh, talk with our friends. Like it's kind of taking crime. Like it's like a crime. They're like. But like if they attacking the youngsters, and like it make the youngsters to talk freely, like they fear to talk in public with their male friends, and like they feel like the people are watching them and they will talk like they are like having an affair.
And I feel like we don't talk about how serious this issue is. We still laugh it off, these incidents. We laugh it off or like think of it as some isolated issues happening in some abandoned remote areas in India, but it actually happens in very urban spaces as well. A friend of mine had this incident where she was at a bus stop and she was just wearing a sleeveless top and she was slut shamed to, I think, the very end to an extreme. And I don't think people realize the mental trauma is not taken into account is what I think. Largely psychology and mental health is ignored in the first place, but even, this imposition of certain values on you, people don't seem to think about the trauma that it brings, the lack of agency to give out your own individualism.
So, moral policing are often shown in the form of harassment, like harassment or public shaming, violence or like verbal abuse. So, it may have a negative impact on their mental states.
I would like to add, moral policing is not really based on a single gender, but often it is gender biased because majority of students here, I'm sure all of the girls definitely at any point of their life, they definitely love affected with this moral policing. Just imagine a wedding, like we are going there with a dress like what like what Ananya said, a sleeveless dress. Our aunties, our relatives, they will be like, "Are you wearing a sleeveless dress? This is not our culture. In India, we won't wear like this. You should cover your body. You should cover. Like, no men should see them." That is a moral policing. We are not often realizing that. That is also a moral policing, and it is very normalized, and we often laugh it off, as Ananya said.
I think you mostly speaking about importance of micro incidents in our life when it comes to moral policing. But even if we take it at a very macro level, I think the improvement of culture in a country is very important to the improvement of everything when it comes to country. So I think the freedom to express themselves, the freedom to experiment, the freedom to change is very important for the growth of a culture. But inhibiting that by kind of imposing the moralities and values of an older generation in such a fast-moving environment, such as what we have now, is very stupid. And I think it would inhibit the growth of our culture as a country and not allow us to kind of place ourselves among the other countries which are more culturally open to changes.
And also, I think social media has been a platform for the youngsters to react against this kind of moral policing. But we should also see the dark sides. You should, as Srilakshmi said, the gender bias is very clear in that thing, because mostly, even though this women who are captured or who are affected of this moral policy, when do they react? people make a bias judgment on this incident without knowing it. And also I have to state that it's not a thing that is invisible somewhere. We can see them in our locality. Even we can see that the people we know are actually behind us. Like I have experienced such things. Like they are always like kind of watching us at the time. They have to discuss these things in places. So they want to they want to affecting. It is actually affecting our personal like image or our personal mental health.
Also, there is this point that I think the most common type of control or bullying, such more policing that is present in our country is like the passive thing that comes from our neighbors, from our uncles, and from those around us. And I think it's more destructive because we can't face it face to face. We can't combat the problem in that way. I think it's very pervasive in our society.
We would like to add on to Vailashmi's first comment that there are some people exist where they want to show that they can instill morality to someone only when they are around their children. So how this affect the child's ability to become an adult, like how it affect the development of children becoming an adult is that if you try to instill this morality upon some people just because you want to show a power structure of them, is that challenges the child's ability to set an healthy boundaries between other people, and it also challenges the children's ability to know what is right or wrong, especially in a public discourse. So the children who is seeing this act from his father or relative or anyone is perceived or is forced to believe that it is right what this guy is doing. So I think this particular situation works on as a loop. We are still in this loop. It is not going to end in it. Until and unless these people try to instill morality because they want to show their power in the society.
Okay, first of all, I would like to confess that I hardly know about this topic, even though we are said to chosen this, okay. But of course, it is some kind of interference made by people, other people, okay, groups, okay, institutions sometimes even, okay, and then they want to enforce, okay, their own individual okay, perspectives, opinions, okay, to others, okay, and we all know that it increases, okay, our stress, okay, depression, okay, and sometimes this short of this depression might. What can I say? Make us commit suicide. Even suicidal things are also happening. Okay, around us. Okay, many suicides are there, as well as he mentioned. Okay, that we are still in a loop. Okay, but I personally and another important thing is that actually another important thing is that okay, moral policy. Okay, it is also making some kind of what can I say, confusion within us. Actually. Okay, whether we are right, actually, our moral values, okay, our right, okay, according to society's moral values, okay. So this kind of confusion is still happening in our mind, okay. Okay, so that's and he mentioned that we are still in a loop, okay. But I personally think that even though we cannot abolish it properly, okay, but there is at least some solution to this problem, okay. And I think that's why we need to encourage ourselves, we need to promote ourselves, our critical thinking, okay. We need to collect different materials, okay, and we need to not materials from okay, books only, okay. We can also gain some knowledge okay, from other people who are really good at us, okay, or good for us, okay. And especially laws, okay, policies, okay, especially our country. So that's all from me.
So what I feel is that moral policing is like kind of encouraging hypocrisy in society. Like with the fear of being judged, people are actually forced to come out of their true selves and pretend as if they are something else. So this is one of the major impact this moral policing will have on the youngsters of current generation. And I think it's very personal that we're talking about people who judge us from a very outer circle, but we should also look at the domestic sphere where people are, like we mentioned, about the relatives who will speak about. So that is also a thing. Actually, it should start from that smaller circle, and then we should think about extending it to a larger scale rather than looking at it from that perspective.
I would like to add on to what Adrian was saying. I don't know how you have studied in common schools. I have studied in common school, and there we are not allowed to do bindi or wear earrings or even kajal or nothing else. Like, in order to adhere to the uniform standards, we were not allowed to do anything. And like even if we do something less, we were slut shamed by our own teachers, that is female faculties. And you can imagine what effect that will have in our mentality. If we will grow up knowing that our skirt should not be above knees, our skirt should always below knees, we should not wear long earrings, that will attract the attention of men. We will start to stay in a cocoon. We will not open ourselves. Yeah, it is very normalized. And when we share this thing to our family, we will be like, it is for your own good. It is for your own good. We need to express ourselves. Okay, it is good to adhere to uniform standards, but what is wrong with putting a small building? I am putting building, but I can't. That is a sort of very normalized moral rules. And when it comes to the personality, like everything on the personality of youngsters, I should say that moral policing has a very severe effect on bringing stress. Like, when students are or youngsters are they are having this incident on moral policing, they will be very stressed and they will not be confident enough to think like in a wedding. One girl is slut shamed by a relative. She would not wear that same dress again because that incident will be coming over and over in her memory, and it is very stressful to her, and it will be her mental health.
And also we can understand that this moral policy, which is fundamental to the patriarchy, it is based on the patriarchal notions. We should understand that this is very intentional. It's not like people are doing good to us, like to the youngsters. They are teaching some lessons to us, such things. So the only thing we can do is to react and should not follow the same or should not limit to all these conformities. Like we should we should react, and then we should always understand that this doesn't give any advantage to us to obey these things and yeah. And also Sri Lakshmi said that this ad gives so much of traumas to us. I have seen this is not confined by men or women. There are people who have this mindset, and we sometimes even in some dresses or something, we make some judgments, and we always have this. The next time we put the dress, we will have they will start judging. Mostly these people have this rule of mocking in front of the public. So we be shameful for that, because it's the same thing. They are limiting, they are trying to limit us to a space, but we should come out of that. That is the only solution that we can do.
Adding on to what Christy said, it should start from the very basic structure of a society which we popular call as a family. We should start from family where it is not like more than reacting. We should communicate and we should make them understand that they knew it properly, and they didn't convey this to the next generation. And it is from there that they should start, and so that they could react in some other way in which society could improve in a more better way.
Thinking about the solutions to this problem, I also think that one thing that we can do is, one thing that is very apparent is I think the cause of this problem, one major component is the generational gap between the current generation and the older generations. I think the current social media platforms do kind of help in kind of bridging that gap between the generations. But I think there can be initiatives taken so that or social media that come in the future that kind of closes the gap, especially from our generation onwards. I think there will be a lot less amount of such problems. And also, I think even if we play devil's advocate and think from side of this moral, the group does the moral policing, I think most of the people who do it kind of get some amount of joy in enacting their own form of justice to other people. I don't think it comes from the standpoint of doing good or doling out justice. So I think it's imperative that we crack down on such vigilantism and we make it criminalize the acts of the moral policy.
Yes, it is.
Last 3 minutes.
Yeah, it is a wondering aspect that why this government is not marking this thing as like a criminal act. Whenever people are getting arrested because of the moral policing, they are another acts are used to charge, but there is no such thing of moral policing as a criminal act. That is a major issue now, which people have to rework on.
But even once you proceed criminally, but that does not mean the ideology changes, the person changes. That is what has to be focused on. The rule needs to be based on that. That is the rule needs.
I think the perspective of my perspective should be changed rather than giving punishment.
I think as a society, we should come forward, we should start. We are already reacting. But the thing is that whenever a moral policing is happening, the viewers or the people, bystanders, they tend to stand along with the moral policers. They will not stand for the victims. They will be always standing along with the.
And one more thing is that we always think that it only happens in our external world. Sometimes while using social media, especially WhatsApp. I really afraid of putting a photo with my own sister even. So if someone says the picture of my sister, then suddenly might ask me who this girl is. So this type of questions we have to also face while using our social media platforms.
I also think that the opinion of Kerala and Javier is that it should be taken as a border issue. While we talk about it, we always talk about it as something that exists in a certain cluster. So if this clusters ever interacts with each other, or if they come in contact with each other, I think that would cause a rebellion or a revolution that was not needed in the first place. That can be avoided by, of course, Atmaja's opinion, like it should be based on base level, and it will be based on how ideology is working on these things.
I also agree with what Sumesh said that this problem is just the symptoms of a wider culture problem. I think as we have already agreed, education is maybe the only thing that can be done effectively to curb this that kind of such poor cultural norms in our society.
And also 25 minutes. Thank you.